Good morning, betting nation. So, as you'll notice, I've got a different background. The reason being is the wife is in bed upstairs. The kids are playing on the iPads in there. Zach will not let me in his room anymore to record, so I am here. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do in this video is I am going to teach you, I'm going to talk you through the process about buying later backs. So today's been a little bit different for me because there's been no all weather. And when there's all weather, when there's flat, it's not, I'm going to say it's so easy. It's easier to find in-play trades because if a horse is held up on the flat, then it has more of an impact in the price in play than it does over the jumps. So if a horse is held up or comes up the stall slowly, the price will shoot up, and therefore we can shoot up. It'll go up, and so therefore we can profit from that scenario. When it's jumps, it takes a little bit more time for the price to drift when it's a hold up type. So therefore, you just need to work that a little bit harder. Well, I seem to anyway. So what I want to do to you guys today is show you 3 different ways I use a software to find a later back, and then I'm going to give you a later back odds on that front run last time. Now, many of you won't like this, but you've got to be different. You have to be different. You cannot carry on doing the same things as you've always done. If you do the same things you've always done, then over a period of time, you will lose because your edge will be diminished in the market. Like I always say about front runners, there's nothing wrong with front runners. However, it is harder to make money from front runners now than it was 2 or 3 years ago. So we have to always evolve. You have to always evolve your edge. If you don't continue to evolve your edge and looking for new ways to make money in the markets, then over a period of time, the market will catch up on you. The more people doing the same thing as you, the less the edge. And there's so many people doing front runners. And that's not to say that front runners is not a tactic you can use, because it so is. It definitely is. But you've just got to be more selective now when doing a front runner. Previously, 2, 3, 4 years ago, you could just back any front runner and make an absolute fortune from it. No, if you backed all the front runners and you led them to 50% or something like that, you would make money. You don't have to do any more research because there was an edge in the market. However, the market is now catching up to you, and so you've just got to be a little bit more selective when you look for front runners. Right, okay. So what do I do first of all? I always just check out the tick page. So here I'm checking out ticks. So I'm saying, show me horses that have that's a key word, haven't decreased by more than 20 ticks. You can obviously change that to whatever you want, the amount of ticks. In the last 3 runnings, you can change that again. Sorry, the kids are in there dancing away. And then you can say how much percent of the time. So how much percent of the time in the last 3 runs do you want to see? And so I say 100%. So I'm saying, show me horses that haven't decreased by more than 20 ticks in the last 3 runnings 100% of the time. So all these horses here, absolutely tons of them, they haven't decreased by more than 20 ticks in the last 3 runnings. So we know historical data is showing us these horses are only potential, because then you've got to do a little bit more work, potential later backs. So there's tons of them, absolutely tons of them today to get your teeth into. I've looked at loads. Oh, the kids are showing. Right, I better hurry up. Right, the next one is, I tell you what, I won't go to that in a minute. Search comments. I love the search comments tab. Right, later backs. So what is a later backs? I'm glad you asked. So what we do is we go to our settings, and basically I am saying, right, show me horses the last 5 runs, and here's a major one. Show me horses that haven't dobbed 80% of the time. Haven't dobbed 80% of the time. I could change that to 100, and then it would only show me horses that haven't dobbed every single time in the last 5 runnings. So here I'm saying, show me horses that haven't dobbed for the last 5 runs 80% of the time. So I'm looking, the software is going to show me horses that have only dobbed 1 out of the last 5 or less. So 0 out of the last 5 or 1 out of the last 5. And then this column here is showing me, say, just on here, so you can have a quick look at it. And it's showing you, saying, show me horses that haven't decreased by more than 10% in the last 5 runs. Haven't decreased by more than 10% in the last 5 runs. Show me horses that haven't decreased by more than 25%. So in a nutshell, you know all these horses here have maximum dobbed 1 out of the last 5. And you can also see that here, 80% of the time, for the last 5 runnings, 80% of them, let me just double check it's right, then green, yeah, 80% of the time, this horse hasn't decreased in price by more than 25%. And here you can see in the last 5 runnings that it hasn't decreased in price by more than 10%. So let's just double check these figures. So we can see here, decreased by 4%, 5%, 8%, 100%, and then 22%. So we can see 3 out of the 5 meet our gold criteria, and 4 out of 5, because it's under 25%. So 3 out of the 5 are under 10%, so it meets our gold, and 4 out of the 5 meets our green criteria. And obviously 100% here didn't actually go much in price. Anyway, so you get the idea there. So you can easily search, and you can change all that as well. You can change it to what suits yourself. So you can easily see horses. So what I normally do, this is how I do it. I normally personally run through them all, and I don't look at horses at a certain price. And then when I see ones I'm interested in, like Donna's Delight, I look at that a little bit further, and I think, oh yeah, that's a potential one. So I keep it open. So I keep that open, and I'll go down. Dots Cover, and I think, okay, that's a potential one. Yeah, okay. So I keep that one open, and Great Visor, yeah, whatever it's called. So I keep that one open, and I just go so on and so forth, all the way down to the very, very bottom. There's loads. There's loads of them. And then after that, I just dig a little bit deeper. And if I fancy it, then I will have a look at, doing a later back. Anyway, so there's another page as well. So that's one way of getting later backs. There is also search comments. Here's one I've made earlier for you. Woo! Right. So in your search comments, these are the criteria that actually move the market. So we're looking at horses that, looking at search comments that actually move the market. And jump slowly, jump poorly, mistake, and not fluent. As we know, they are negative connotations. I'm getting carried away with that word, aren't I? I'm trying to put it in everything. Claire, do you know what? I love you, condensate. It's too early. It's too early. Oh, the kids are coming now. Right, so... Hey, Kai, you okay? You having a wee? He's having a wee. Are you okay? Do you want me to come and help? Nobody. It's just a car outside. As you can see, this is a real professional podcast. Right, so I've said, show me horses that are in comments in running, jump slowly, jump poorly, mistake, and not fluent in last 4 runnings, 50% and over. So I want to see horses that in last 4 runnings have had that in at least 2 of the last comments in running of the last 4 runnings. And so these are all the ones here. You alright, bud? Just 1 second, dude. I'll be 20 seconds, okay? So the one today is Shantou Flyer, and the reason being is that Shantou Flyer, look at this one. Right, last time out,
I got your book.
So I'll just pause it for a second. Sorry guys, I had Kai climbing on the couch about to jump on my head, and I couldn't see what I was looking at here. I was like, what the heck's happened? Because I know it was 1.58 last time out, and I couldn't find it. The reason being is because I've been sorting these by date order. I've been looking at the course order as well, and basically the reason why we're doing this one is, listen, and by the way, I know that 30% profit of an even, so let's get even money. So our stake, I always go for 30% of your stake and a 30% stop loss of your stake. 30% stop loss of £500 is £150. So you've got to be a little bit careful this time, because I know that obviously the stakes is quite high. So the stakes are quite high. That means our liability is going to be high. So just cut down your stakes if you want to. However, if this obviously wins, that's Saxon higher. So if it wins, then we are obviously going to make more money today because of our 30% profit of my stake is £500, because my liability is 500. Then obviously we'll make £150. So just be a little bit mindful. Drop your stakes if you want, because I know a lot of people will disagree with me here, because a lot of people will think, it front run last time, Dean, it front run. Look, took clean hold, led and clear. Yes, it did lead and clear, but there was only 4 runners on this occasion, and I don't think it'll actually front run today. It may well do, but it might not as well. But even if it does front run, look at this. And it doesn't really matter if it front runs. Just because it front runs, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to go down in price by at least 30%, because if it did, we'd all be rich. In play low, so FRSP was 1.58. In play low was 1.01. The in play high was 110s, and it won it by 7 lengths. Now, this horse has been, as we can see here, jump right and bump lad, push on, not fluent. Here, 2 lengths down when not fluent last. This horse is so brave over the chases. It just absolutely pings the fences. And that's absolutely great. But sometimes it makes a mistake. And when he makes a mistake, it looks worse, because he's so brave at his fences, so he takes off early and really commits. And when he makes a mistake, it looks worse, and therefore it takes the price out. So for me, this is the one I'm going for. Look at this one, he run here as well. Mid-division this time. Watch the race. 3.15, only went as low as 2.76. Only went down 14 ticks, only decreased by 12%. I just believe that the prices, what normally happens when it's an in play, when it's not front runner, when it's odds on, everything normally needs to go into its, to go in its way. Everything needs to go its way, and we're at a crossover point as well. So don't forget, we're at a crossover point. So to get 30%, all of a sudden it gets a little bit easier for a crossover point. Crossover trading, if you don't know what crossover trading is, it's where the increments go up in a different value. So we're going up. If we're going down, it's going 1.98, 1.97, 1.96, 1.95. However, when we're going up at that price, it goes 2.02, 2.04, 2.06, and so it's always better to be a layer at that price rather than a backer, because it takes a bigger tick movement to get your 30% ticks in as well. I know I'm getting very, very technical in this aspect, but it takes more ticks to get your 30% profit if you're going for a back to lay than it does if you're going for a lay to back. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I mean, I know I'm going a little bit, not technical, but it's just about the tick valuation, the increments and the values of the ticks. The value of the ticks, it's easier for us to get, it'll be quicker for us in terms of ticks to get out if we're laying to back at this price rather than if we're backing to lay. Anyway, betting it, that's not the reason I'm doing this. There's other factors obviously involved, the reason why we're doing it. Hopefully that makes perfect sense to you guys. I'm going to have to go now because the kids are, a law to themselves at the minute. God knows what Zach's doing to Kai. I think he's tied him up or something. Right, Betting Nation, if you do want to join the waiting list, I'll put a link to the show notes. We open on Wednesday. All right, Betting Nation, thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Don't forget to listen to the podcast because I've got a 9-pointer football podcast today, and I've also got a 7-pointer in the cup final. All right, Betting Nation, better go. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.